Hi y'all. Okay, welcome back. Welcome to another episode of Jimmy's Neighborhood Bees. I'm Jimmy and keeping bees in regular old neighborhood. Anyway, my last video, I was you might have saw I was doing a little small scale wax rendering. I'm going to show you what came out of that. But before I do all of that, I'm going to hit today's fortune. And let's see, today's fortune. You have a deep appreciation of the arts and music. The arts and music, yeah, I guess so. I do enjoy going to the museum every now and then. Virginia Museum of Fine Arts in downtown Richmond, excellent place. Anyway, and also music. I love music, all genres of music. I collect instruments. I want to learn how to play a little something on each instrument we have. So, yeah, so that's kind of fun. But anyway, so that's that. You're not going to hear me play. You're welcome. But no, seriously. Anyway, so when yesterday, or the video that I made, the last one, I was just doing work around the shop because it was raining outside, and it's like today it's cold. It's not going to get above 50 degrees Fahrenheit. I'll put Celsius again right here. And the low is going to be 29 or 28. So again, even though it's bright sunny outside, it's still too cold to get into the bees here where I'm at locally. I talked to a couple of my club members, local club members, and everybody's looking forward to this weekend. We're going to get about another inch of rain on Saturday, between Friday night and Saturday. So after that, the temperatures will remain above freezing, closer to our high today for the low. So by Sunday, it'll be time to get into the bees. Hopefully we'll get in then. Anyway, you saw me put all of that old comb that I had in my lock and lock. And so I couldn't fit it all because I got this small baby crock pot. So I had to do it in 2 batches. So I have the second batch going right now. However, this is the result of the first batch. I scraped the back of it a little bit and I rendered it just one time. And you saw how dirty and stuff it was, but look, compared to this has been rendered down 3 times, this only once. So it's not a little bad chunk. You know, it's about a ½ an inch, maybe a little bit more than between a 1/4 and a ½ inch, you know, who knows. But that's the first rendering. I have about 8 medium frames worth of old brood and brood comb and old honeycomb stuff that, you know, like this, that I had in my freezer. It's empty, it's just old, but I don't use this. You can see some of it's got old brood and little whatever's in there. But I will be scraping this stuff and melting it down for my to add into the second batch here. Someone asked me why would I not put that in my swarm trap, because I use my XL frames, the ones I'd call XL frames, for my brood boxes. And if I was to put this medium in there and I caught a swarm and the queen started laying in that medium frame, then it's going to be hard as heck to get them to move off of that frame and wait for them to empty it out and then put it, you know. So I just want to get rid of that. I'll melt the wax, render it down, and in my deep freezer, and I'm going to take you and show you what's in there, I have a good 20 some odd used XL frames. So I have plenty of drawn comb for them to for me to stock up the swarm trap. And that'll probably be my next video because that's coming time too. Swarm trap stuff. But I've got some of the It's starting to heat up now. Oh, I just got off the phone with my daughter, and she found she had 2 family-sized crock pots. So she was going to donate one. I told her to save it for me. I'll come and get it the next time we're up there. And that way I'll have a family-sized crock pot, and I might be able to do all of this in one go-round instead of 2 like I have to do now. But so let me show you what's in here. And this is the same that, oh. It'll look the same that this started out, and then that's how I render it. So you can see here, I'll be adding some more of the wax from those frames and melting it down, and I'll show you what comes out. I run it through my screen over here, and I'll show you what comes out of that. But let's put this back here. This is all of the junk that was in there. I can even see there's a wax worm in here, right there. That's an old wax worm. And what I do with this, I'll break it up. I'll put a couple of pieces in my swarm trap. The bees like that smell. They like that smell. I'll put some in the swarm trap. It makes a good fire starter if you got an outside fire pit. So it'll be reused as well, or some of it. But yeah, so that's what I'll do. So I'm gonna just start scraping some frames, adding it to my crock pot until it's, hopefully I can get the 7 frames. Let's see. These are all of the medium frames here. You can see there's some pollen in there. But this is from, I think, 2 years ago. Because I tried to stop using mediums. You know. So I'll scrape all of this off. I mean, you know, that's a lot of pollen, a lot of just, look at that. It's a lot of pollen. So, but I'll get rid of that. And yeah, so I'll get rid of that and put it in here and melt it down. And so now let me show you what I have in the freezer so that you can see what I'm gonna, 1, stock the swarm trap with, and then 2, if I have to split, I have extra frames already ready to split the hives, the 2 hives that are active right now. So let me turn you around and go into the freezer. Okay, again, here's the freezer. I've got my stickers. If you see yours, shout it out. And now let's take a look inside. Get my lock out of the way. So I have a frame of mostly honey here. So that's some resources if I was to need some. Both sides. I'm trying to do this one-handed. Let's see here. Both sides got resources. Just stuck in the freezer there. Let's get this basket out. Fully drawn comb. So that's an excellent candidate. Excellent candidate for the let's get you guys for the swarm trap. Got a couple of those. Fully drawn. Again, excellent candidate for swarm trap. And I'm not going to go through all of them, but you can see all of these have drawn comb on them. So they'll be fine. Okay, that was about, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 frames, medium frames of honeycomb. The hardest ones were the darker ones with the pollen in them. They stick that pollen to the bottom of that plastic foundation. So very hard. So, and then the ones that you saw that were very light, those were my first year. They only had 1 year of honey production on those mediums. So that's why that comb was very clean and almost pristine, almost like wax cappings wax. But anyway, so I'm going to render this stuff down. I'll come back in and out of the storeroom here, adding as much as I can, but it might be 3 batches. And then what I'll do for the final, I'll do 3 batches. And then for the final, I'll put it all together, melt it all down, and strain it one more time for the final. And I'll show you what I got after that. So, yeah, we'll see you guys at the end when I show you what comes of this. All right. But I don't think I'm going to pour it in my ingots here. I got the, let's see. I got a silicone mat here. This is silicone. And you would just pour the wax in there and let's see, however it goes, like that. And that way, you get you let it cool. Once you just let it cool, pop it out, and there you have it. So I may do that. Oh, and the moai, it's a silicone mold here. And these are supposed to be like the moai from Easter Island. Rapa Nui, Easter Island. They're really ice molds, so you make ice cubes that are kind of fancy, but the silicone, they don't really, So that's what I use. And I think I have one more in the house, but I didn't bring it out. So that's what I do as far as pouring the wax, rather than leaving it like this. And I can just grab a chunk of that, drop it in the crock pot, and Ooh, I just had a thought. But I can grab one of these, drop it in the crock pot, melt it down, and use it to wax frames. But what I think I'm going to do, once I get the larger crock pot from my daughter, I'm going to clean this one very, very, very good. And I'll use the larger one for the melting of the wax whenever I get honeycomb and things like that that need to be melted down. And I'll use this smaller one once it's completely clean. I'll use the smaller one just for melting wax and pre-waxing frames. So yeah, I was gonna get rid of this one, but now I think I'm gonna keep it. Anyway, so that's how things work. You learn on the fly. So anyway, I'll be back and show you the final results. It's probably gonna take 3 meltdowns, and we'll show you the final results. All right, see you in a little while. Okay, the other day I did my 3 rounds of wax renderings. This was the first one I showed you guys. Okay, so we throw that over here. The second one is in this bucket, which I can show you. I didn't dump it yet, so I'm gonna dump it, see how big it is. And then the third one, this is the slum stuff that's in there. Like I said, I'll use some of this, but for now, I'll just stick it in here in this tub. There we go. So I got all 3 in here. I could redo this again. Whoa. There's 1, there's 2 in there. There's another one at the bottom. I could melt that down for a second time, but there's no need. Probably not a lot of wax in there. So I'll dispose of that later. And then here's that one. It wasn't that third batch wasn't a lot of wax. However, I'm gonna get it all together and I'll show you in a minute. Okay, that's all 3, like the 3 one-time straining through my little strainer here. And so what I'm gonna do is heat up my crock pot again with some water. This was the first one, as you may remember. And then this was the second one here, a little bit darker than the first. A little bit more junk, but I scraped the bottom. And size comparison is close. And then this was the remnants of the last one. So what I'm gonna do is, like I said, I'm gonna take all of this wax, heat it in some clean water. Yeah. Show you inside the crock pot here. Just clean water, put a little bit more. And once that gets hot and starts boiling, I'm just gonna melt these down. I'll put a piece of blue paper towel in the basket and funnel it through into another. I'll get a clean bucket, funnel it through a clean bucket, and that'll be my final wax. And then I may, after I funnel it through and it hardens, melt it without any water in the crock pot, and so it'll be pure wax. And then I'll put it in my as you say, my silicone molds. I just like it in here just because it makes it, you know, easy to handle. I can give it to my grandson or my daughter. I gave them one already, but it's just easier to handle, and I'll melt it down. But I'll probably wax my frames and pour the remnants in this mold. Once I melt down just plain wax. So I'm gonna let this heat up for about an hour, and then I can put these in now, break it up, put them in. I'll come back out like a couple times and check that. But I'll take this in the house and go clean it really good while I'm waiting. Okay, after an undisclosed amount of time, my just the hot water and the wax is melted. So what I'm gonna do is pour it. I kind of rinsed out the bucket, so it's not as. I'm gonna use this one because this one I didn't get it as clean. So we'll throw this one on the side here. I'm gonna double paper towel it. So I'm gonna use that paper towel like that. And then I'm gonna use the blue. Or do I want to do that the other way around? I want to do it the other way around. Use the blue. That's the blue at the bottom is going to keep anything that's on the basket, on the bottom of the basket, from going down. And really, there's no need to do the top. Yeah, there's no need to do the top one. Now, this is hot. I'm gonna put on gloves. I got a double pair of gloves here. So it's 2 pair. Same thing here, 2 pair. You're dealing with hot wax and hot water, so you want to be careful. Safety first, yeah. Oh no, that didn't work. Disaster. Let's try this again. Wait a minute. I'm gonna remelt and scrape. Start all over. Sometimes it don't work. Okay, the first attempt was a fail. So I went in the house and I got some binder clips. And I'm gonna hope these binder clips will allow me to, so it won't come off. The paper towel should be good. We'll see how that does. And I'll probably hold it for a little while too. But it's melted back, so no harm, no foul. Try it again. While it's still hot, the pot is, I'm gonna wipe the inside. And you see, nice and shiny, nice and clean. Okay, we can turn the pot off and unplug it. I'm gonna leave that, and tomorrow I'll just check it, and that'll be that. Should be a nice, decent size chunk of wax, and it should be a fairly clean chunk of wax. So we'll check it tomorrow. We go dump this out and bring in what we got. Okay, empty bucket and nice big hunk of wax. A little bit of stuff on there. Got to scrape the back, but that's it. So here's my wax. What I got from those 3 melting downs in my small crock pot here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna scrape this back of this off with my hive tool here, and then I'm gonna melt this by itself, no water. I'll dry it off, but melt it by itself, and I'll use this to pre-wax my frames that I have. Okay, real quick, I went and scraped the back. So you can see that it is a full inch of wax. And like I said, it was 3 initial with the slum gum, and then 1 just by itself, but not that bad, you know, if you look. But this is the newest stuff. I'm gonna go ahead and break it up, melt it down, use it to pre-wax my frames, but I think I'm gonna light my smoke and get into bees. So that'll be another video. So until then, have fun with your bees and your beeswax.